Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Coming up, games, and more games.
Plus our podcast app showdown. Condé Nast plays nice with Apple. And are you Gaga for Gagaville?
I know I am. All that plus Woodstock nostalgia on iPad today.
Woodstock nostalgia. iPad Today is brought to you by GoToMyPC. Attention iPad owners, access your applications and files on your home or office computer from your iPad with GoToMyPC by Citrix. For your free 30-day trial, visit GoToMyPC.com. Promo code iPad Today. And by Slingbox, which just turned your iPad into a television. Slingbox introduces their new iPad app, so now you can watch your home TV on your iPad anywhere you take it. Check it out at Best Buy or Slingbox.com. And by FreshBooks, the easy online invoicing service that gets you paid quickly and makes you look more professional. Get started with a free package at FreshBooks.com. It's iPad Today time. Leo, Laporte, Sarah Lane. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show.
The show.
The show is on the air.
It's funny, right? As we started the show, someone in the chat room was like, games? Really? Games? Why, yes, games.
I think this is actually, the iPad is a spectacular game platform.
Oh, it's actually made me be able to call myself a gamer and not feel like
Right.
I'm lying.
Well, it's kind of more casual.
I was never really a big gamer before, and now I play lots of games.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the page. I have a page, just for games on my iPad. And I've got arcade games. I've got baseball. I've got board games. I've got physics games, puzzle games, real-time strategy, zombies. There's a whole folder just for zombies.
So, wow.
Just for zombies.
Well, zombies are a big thing now. They make TV shows about zombies. People have zombie tattoos. There are zombie games.
There's Plants vs. Zombies, but there's also
that.
Zomborhood, which is great. And then the Game Doctors have a zombie game called Zombie Smash. That's really fun.
The reason that we talk about every once in a while, it's like, well, we should do a game roundup. Don't want to do it too often because don't want everyone to think that all we do is play games on our iPad.
At least once every 45 shows.
At least that. Right. This is show 45.
Yeah, no, I think it's appropriate.
We've talked about games before, but not lately. Someone on Twitter actually said to me, hey, I was visiting a nursing home, and there's a woman, her name was Mildred, who lives there, who loves your show and wanted you to talk about games. And so I said, done. We'll talk about games.
Well, let me tell you something. I stopped playing We Rule because I realized that I had actually sunk thousands of dollars and many more hours into this, stupid game. But my mom loves it. She's got 2 farms. She finds it very soothing. She also plays We Farm. I mean, that's a game, and she loves it.
I think as long as there isn't actually a bank account issue, let people play their games. Right.
And I made it a policy initially not to spend money, but then when they added that gift thing, and if you had Mojo, by the way, my mom and I have a debate. I call it Mojo. Yeah. She calls it Mojo.
Like Espanol?
Yeah, Mojo.
Mojo.
Like a mojito.
Well, if you ask Jim Morrison, I think he'd agree with you.
Mojo.
Yeah.
Got my mojo rising. So I bought Mojo because I found out if you do Mojo to the gifts, they get very valuable, and you can level up really fast. So $100 later, I'm thinking, I am the stupidest, biggest sucker ever. I hated myself. No, don't laugh. I hate myself.
I told you last year, this is a gambling addiction, and you need to put yourself in check. And you said, you're crazy. I love it.
I said I could stop any time.
And you did.
I finally did.
You finally did. There was...
So we have an email from a fan that's trying to get me hooked on another one.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
There are a lot of folks who try to get us hooked on games. The first game that I want to talk about is, I love it because the concept is very simple. It's kind of it's a music metronome game, but there's some skill involved. It's called Pulse. And this is not to be confused with Pulse the Newsreader, which is, let me go back to the beginning here.
Now we're gonna turn up the audio because there's music.
Yeah, no, the audio is extremely important here. So let's go. We'll go to Stray Light because I've done this before and I know I can do this. So the whole idea is, by the way, you need headphones. This will not even play through the iPad speakers, and you go along with the music.
Can you hear that well enough?
Yeah. So what I'm doing is when the little balls appear, because I can kind of feel what the rhythm and the beat of the music.
You have to do it in time?
Yep. See how I'm doing this?
Oh my God, this looks hard. So this is kind of Guitar Hero, but different.
Yeah, it's hard. Shoot. And it tricks you.
Am I screwing you up by doing that?
Sort of. No, I'm just bad.
Huh. So you're playing in time.
Yeah. And the thing is it's not really just like, oh, follow the balls, because you have to hit them during the actual rhythm of the song.
This is almost hypnotic.
And there is an intuitiveness. Like, you start to get into the rhythm. Ooh. I'm actually doing this with one hand, and I think it's a lot easier with two. But here's the music is really kind of beautiful, isn't it? And yeah, and you do get into like a Zen thing.
I want to buy cauliflower. I want to buy cauliflower.
Damn it, darn it. So anyway, you get the idea. So if I wasn't hitting any of the balls, I'm actually missing them, so I'm not getting as many points as I could be.
This is very much like Guitar Hero, or actually, some of those, like the Magic Piano game and stuff, had similar play features. This is nice. Okay, enough.
Got it?
I got it. You are not a gamer.
What in the world is wrong with you? I love this game. That's a fun game. And by the way, there are more than just that one particular song.
No, and I think that I could see how that would become it's
like
almost meditative.
Yes.
Yeah. You zone into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Pulse. This is volume 1, so you have to assume that if it's popular, there will be multiple volumes. I don't know how many songs there are in this particular collection. There's certainly a handful that I haven't even gotten to yet. It's $4.99, so it's the sort of game that it appeals to me because it's not that hard. I mean, you just have to have rhythm, which I have some, and you have to kind of enjoy the graphics of it and not need anything that's too I mean, there's strategy involved, but it's more of a timing thing. I like it a lot. Pulse Volume 1, $4.99. It's from a company called Cypher Prime. What are you doing over there?
I'm playing my game.
Oh, I have to give you my
Yeah, I guess.
We have to plug in
if we want to hear
audio.
the sound.
Well, yeah, we want to hear the sound.
All right. I got to find the hole.
Find the hole, Leo.
I found the hole.
Oh, I'm so glad.
This is called iBomber Defense. Not making any sound now.
By Chilingo, which are the folks who make Cut the Rope.
Yeah,
Isn't
they're kind of the distributor, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is, I should start it from the beginning here. We'll exit out of it so you can see. It's called iBomber Defense. I like tower defense games.
Yes.
So you can do a campaign, which is normally what you would do in tower defense. Quick play, there's bonus missions. We'll start with quick play. So you can see we can choose a venue, which is pretty common. Here's some of the instructions. We'll start. And so you get different weapons. In this case, you get these weapons. The bad guys are going to attack you. Assign victory points. Right. So the bad guys are going to attack you. And your goal is to build a defense up. There's a lot of games like this. I happen to like this one. I think it's pretty cool. So the bad guys are going to come this way. Oh, there they are. So I'm going to place my defensive turrets here. Wow, that's a pretty explosion.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore.
So they get faster and faster and faster. I did army games for this one because I like kind of shooting things. And I knew you were going to do stupid girly games like that.
Oh
Pulse.
My gosh!
So
wow. Just wow.
I just thought I'd do something.
Sorry that all your games are about building farms.
I'm a boy and I want to blow crap up.
Or shooting pirates.
It blew it up good. Now, as you gain more money from blowing these guys up, you'll get more weapons here, and you'll be able to, because as you see, they're coming faster. I'm almost not getting them all. Get them! Oh, thank goodness. I'm going to put another turret here. That's very important. and then and you could speed it up if you really want. I love the sound on this. Isn't that great? I mean, isn't that a great throaty rumble when you blow up the ships?
I like my pulse music.
Yeah,
to be honest. I mean, don't you
fairy time
don't you think
music.
their bombs could at least have some variety?
I just want you to know I had another blow-up game that I'd picked called Fragger HD, but Sarah vetoed it.
I vetoed it. You know why?
Because it's violent.
No. Like I have a problem with violence.
Pearls.
Are you kidding? I am not wearing pearls. These are jade something or others.
You look like you're almost wearing pearls.
Well, I'm not. Hi. Hi. Have you met me? Do I look like a pearl person?
Yes.
Well, I don't think
I
know
think
that I'm not. Actually,
you're very proper.
Let me tell you why. Oh, you're going to show Fragger anyway,
No, I'm just going to play it. You continue to talk while I have fun.
Something's gotten into you, Mr. Laporte. I don't know what it is, but we're going to have a talking to after the show. No, I'm just kidding. Upstairs, because we only have so much room in the show, and I was like, let's just let's just do 3 games.
It's fine. I got another game that girls will hate coming up.
I pulled the TNT crew. That's Tom and I as 2 men.
And they both said it was stupid?
No, I said ninjas versus spiders, and they said spiders.
Yeah, the spiders is a great game.
So that's why
I gave you too many choices.
You did.
Yeah. It's my fault.
I made an executive decision.
Yes, dear.
And I hate spiders, so
yes, dear.
You still sort of win.
I love this one. Should I show it?
Yes.
So this has been out for a while, but I think they've improved it. It's called Spider.
Well, they made it iPad capable.
The Legend of Bryce Manor. Yeah, and I played it a lot on the iPhone. I have to start over again, unfortunately. But it really is a great iPad game. So here's a room, and you are a spider. Now, you can walk around in the room just by, using your finger to walk around. But it's much more fun if you're a spider to jump. And you can jump all over the room. If you load and jump, you spin. Oh, it's so much fun.
Is it?
You spin a web. Oh, yeah. And watch, when I close the web off.
Do you eat the flies?
You eat the flies. They get caught.
It's so mean.
Mean? You're a spider, for crying out loud.
I know.
Welcome to the...
it's how you have to eat. I got it.
And you'll run out of web. The rooms change all the time. You have to clear the room, and I'll zoom back out. You can see the art is great. You have to clear the room to get to the portal that takes you to the next room. It is simply a simple game.
Music.
It's really deceptively simple. It's so much fun. And the ability to fly around like this is great.
Now,
you have to be strategic, too, about how you build your web, because you don't have infinite webbery.
But there aren't any predators that you have to worry about, right? It's all about whether you can catch
in later
or not.
levels, there are predators.
Okay.
It gets more complicated.
Is it little old ladies like me who hate spiders?
That would be funny if Sarah Lane showed up in this game.
As a predator.
I'd like that. I would like that.
I'm actually not a spider killer.
I would like to get spider webs in your hair and scare you. Yeah, my daughter is too.
They just scare me.
So I guess, this is the misogynist edition of iPad today, where Leo picks games
and tells Sarah that she picks girly games.
That he thinks that Sarah will
Because that doesn't grind my gears at all.
See, I opened the portal.
Girls love hearing how girly they are. Boy.
Well, okay, so I guess I'm just going to have a rotten life.
No, it's okay.
So I didn't clear it, but I was able to get enough of it to go to the next level, because I wanted to show you another level. It's really a beautiful game. We're going to go into the entranceway. We're exploring Bryce Manor. Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it's very Clue, who
it
done
does. It has a nice style to it. Oops. Stay on web to maximize your scoring multiplier. If you touch the ground, the scoring multiplier will reset.
They're giving you hints because they think you don't know how to play.
Because they think I stink.
Yeah.
Boom.
And you can get up on the chandelier and everything. Oh, this is fun.
Isn't it fun?
I like how
it
it's
might
kind
make
of...
you sympathize with spiders more.
I like that there's kind of like electronic... this is like a hip spider.
Oh, yeah.
Very mod.
But yet the art's great. I just think they've done a nice job of this. It's a really beautiful... You've probably played it before. It's it's Spider, The Legend of Bryce Manor. I think it's... what did I say it was? $2.99?
It's $4.99.
$4.99. Well worth it. Lots of gameplay in this. I think they've done a really nice job.
iBomber Defense was $2.99, so that's the cheapest of the 3. Although iBomber Defense looks fine. It looks like some of the other games that you like.
It's just a tower defense game.
Yeah.
I like to give you new tower defense games because we go through them so fast. I eat them like candy. I have a whole folder of tower defense games.
We had a couple of...
iBomber Defense, though, has 2 things that I really like.
Yeah.
Really good graphics, better than usual, and bigger fields. And you heard those explosions. It blowed up good.
Well, except that it was the same sound effect each time. It would be nice to have a few varieties. Let's make it real.
Oh, no.
Let's make it real.
What, you think bombs sound different?
Yes.
They all sound the same.
Okay. Well, you
Actually,
know more about it than I do.
wouldn't. I know. Well, yeah. Why would I? Yes, because I'm a veteran.
I don't. Well,
I know. I have never heard
I'm just
a real
saying.
bomb. As far as I know, when you shoot a gun, it goes pew 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 pew. You've heard a real bomb?
Mine goes. As I shoot semi-automatic weapons.
Now we do have some
in my
viewer
dreams.
suggestions. In fact, I think because Susan knew that I gave up We Rule, she wanted to seduce me with another game.
Yes, these are the exact kind of
I
folks
hate
who
you,
say,
Susan.
Leo, listen to us. I think he'd love this. Susan,
I have
yeah,
played
we're
this
always
game.
getting suggestions from you guys about cool games to feature, and obviously we can't talk about them all, but just wanted to mention Susan's suggestion, Trade Nations. She says, it's
Love
great. Good graphics, good music, cute peeps, but it's relaxing because there aren't time limits with missions, and it's social, but there isn't that pressure to log in every 5 minutes.
Exactly. It is not as bad as We Rule in that respect. It was Randall Schwartz who told me about this when we were in South America, and he said you could set it up so you don't have to ever really check in. It just kind of continues.
I
on.
like that. I like to not have the pressure to play
I had
every
a pretty
day.
good Trade Nations setup, and but when I gave up We Rule, I gave up. I just thought, surely I have something better to do with my life.
Well, no,
That's
you're
what I
not
thought.
busy enough. That's the thing.
You know, the truth is that the giving up these games has given me no additional time or energy, and I'm getting nothing more done than I ever got before. So.
Somebody on Twitter recently said, I don't remember who it was, so I don't want to misquote, but they said, just admit it. You don't have any free time.
No,
and it wasn't.
ever.
They weren't talking to me specifically.
Ever.
It's just that's just the way it is.
Ever.
With the free time that you free up from something, you'll end up filling up with something else. We just lead busy lives. Dragos also suggested a game called Bug Chucker. Says you throw
like
bugs
that.
at metallic spheres, and you're trying to get into the bug's great tree. Simple concept, but there are stars and planets and black holes, and they all affect your bug's path due to gravity, and it's actually very challenging. I've played 10 levels so far, and I'm really addicted.
It's interesting because it's been a while, since the iPad came out, and it's taken a couple of years, I think, for people who, game developers to realize you can't just port a regular game like Call of Duty to the iPad. It doesn't really work. So we're seeing a lot of physics games. They're starting to see that, that works well where you throw things. There is, and I'm going to play this. It's $7. They're telling me in the chat room it's really good.
What is it?
I like MMORPGs, massively multiplayer online real something games, and and this is one that they say is very good. I've tried a number of these, World of Warcraft style games on the iPad, and again, this doesn't really fit the iPad, way of working, but it does look beautiful. $7. I will try this one. But it's $1 a month once you.
It's $7 and then it's $1 a month?
You get 3 months.
Okay.
All right, I'll install it. We'll show you at the end of the show.
You got 3 months. I mean, if you love it that much, then...
Well, it's like World of Warcraft. You pay a monthly fee.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably the way a lot of these games will go, especially the addictive games where they can keep you hooked.
Well, we're seeing in-game purchases really take over, I think, on the iPad. That a lot of these games are free, like Trade Nations and We Rule, but end up costing you a few dollars before the thing.
Speaking of costing you a few dollars, you know that the makers of Farmville and Cityville Zynga are teaming up with Lady Gaga.
What?
May 17th, Gagaville launches.
What?
Yes.
Okay, I might play Gagaville.
See, I'm not going to because I don't like Farmville or Cityville.
Oh yeah, but it's Gagaville.
But I don't like Lady Gaga that much. But I feel like this is an interesting experiment because she's a big deal with a lot of people right now.
Is it a Facebook only or?
I don't know.
Farmville players get exclusive first listen to Born This Way songs and newly created Gagaville Farm. Yeah, I have to say, I think it's a little cynical.
Well, I think that she's striking while the iron. I'm sure Gagaville will get a lot of attention off the top because
there's going to be
Lady
unicorns.
Gaga, look at her, and she's
crystals.
Really?
That's what they say.
Well, I'm actually kind of into that. Unicorns and crystals, huh? And weird outfits.
And it's a way to sell out albums. If you buy a game card, you get the album for free.
Okay. So if you
interesting.
were thinking of getting the album anyway, then you might as well just get the game for free. So
Sounds like it's in Farmville.
Oh, well, I won't be playing it, but if anyone decides to go ahead and play Gagaville, please write into us and let us know how it is.
It is.
and if
It's in
awesome.
Farmville. Send us screenshots because we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a Gagaville within Farmville.
Wow, that's less interesting than I thought it would be. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be better. Who knows? By the way, if you want to write into us and you don't know the address, I'm going to tell it to you right now. iPad today at twit.tv.
The only thing missing there was calling them little monsters.
Pause up, everybody. Also, if you want to subscribe to the show, if you haven't yet, we love it when you watch live, but if for any reason you miss it or you want to watch a show again or just make sure you don't miss an extra show or future show, twit.tv/IPT is our URL. And if you do want to watch live and you're like, how the heck do I do that? If you're not watching live right now, that is, we record Thursdays, give or take a few minutes at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. That's 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And if you have app ideas of your own, games or anything else, Gagaville thoughts, suggestions, again, iPad today at twit.tv.
Do you think she's kind of? I feel like she's going for the gold. Like initially, she was very original and very creative and a great artist. And I feel like now she says, "Oh, wait a minute, there's money in this." And now it's like all about marketing. She says the word Gaga in every song. She's got Farmville, Gagaville. You could push it too hard.
I wouldn't say that this is her first entry into advertising.
always
She's
done
the
this.
Polaroid spokesmodel, or at least
that
for
was
certain
weird.
things. It was weird. I still don't quite get what the deal is. I'm not sure if Polaroid made out on top because of that or not. But the pop music scene, I look at it from afar with a.
It's not our people.
Yeah.
I want to blow crap up.
I think it's fun, but I'm not taking it too seriously.
This show brought to you by, speaking of being commercial, let's make some money, Sarah Lane. This show brought to you by our good friends, we do love them, at Citrix, the makers of GoToMyPC, which is the best remote access software out there. You know, it's gotten to be a very competitive field, and I look at all of them whenever they come out, all the different companies, but I have to say I always go back to GoToMyPC, and I'm not sure what it is. There's just a certain polish to it. They've been doing this longer than anybody else. It's certainly faster than anybody else. Easier to install. You don't need IT help. You don't need a port forward. You just you could do it right now. Visit GoToMyPC.com. GoToMyPC.com. You use our promo code, which, let me check, is iPad Today.
That's right.
iPad Today.
iPad Today.
And you can use it free for 30 days. So, I mean, this is a good way to try it. By the way, there is an iPad app for free as well. Go to My PC for iPad. And there's something really cool about accessing a Windows machine on an iPad. It just works, and it's fun, and you can run any program, send and receive email, access any network resource just as if you were there. Get out of the office, enjoy life, bring your iPad with you. It's light, it's easy, and you can still get that inbox cleared before you head back. Go to mypc.com, click the try it free button, use the offer code iPad today. So what's been happening I'll tell you one thing that's been happening.
What's that?
The world of iPad.
Yeah. Some competition.
Some competition.
In fact,
do I have it here?
It's
hidden away.
It's hidden in your
It's so thin
in your
it fell in my
folder.
notebook.
Yeah.
If I held this up and I showed it to you at first, you'd say, "Oh, that's an iPad."
Yeah. I mean, if you look quickly, in fact, you know what I thought it was? I thought it was a first-gen iPad before you turned it on
it's actually,
earlier.
believe it or not, thinner and lighter than the iPad 2.
It's very thin.
It's rocking the Tegra processor, so it's a dual-core gigahertz, lots of memory. You know what the negative is?
What?
And I'll be brutally honest, because I'm an Android fan. It's running Android, the Honeycomb operating system from Google. And it's not very polished. It doesn't feel very good. There are very few apps that take advantage of this space. There are a few, but not nearly enough. And, I think if you don't have the apps, but doesn't it feels like a 16 by 9 iPad. Boy, if they put Netflix on this,
So
I'd be happy.
a little bit of background. We're referring to the new Samsung Galaxy Tab, the 10.1
This is
inch.
10.1 inch. I should have said that. You're
And
right.
that was part of something
Google gave these out to developers at Google I/O to encourage people to write more Android apps. And one of the things they said when they gave this out is we're going to update this to 3.1. The next version of Android for phones will unify the Honeycomb user interface with a phone user interface so that there's one standard interface. That'll be called Ice Cream Sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's very iPad-like. Gmail looks great in this. But, and it's snappy. I mean, it's credible. I just think it's so close. But there's nothing like the iPad. And the range of apps that are available on the iPad compared to what's available for the Honeycomb.
And we were talking before the show. It's
I like
nice.
it. I love the hardware.
In landscape mode, it's great for movies.
It's a little weird in
portrait mode, especially, I had the problem with the first Galaxy Tab. When you're browsing, for example, you're just looking at a web page, it does feel kind of smushed because it's so vertical.
Yeah.
And that's not how we're used to
just
looking
weird.
at things on a computer.
Although I think if you got used to it, it's kind of a natural way to read a page, right?
Yeah, well, it mimics a book, I guess, more closely.
Yeah, a Kindle app on this is pretty nice, by the way. I don't know. Look.
See,
it's good.
I have look at how long it took for it to rotate the orientation. It takes too long.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was snappy, but there are certain things like that I'm like, that's not snappy to me. That would bother me.
And did you notice how it rearranged everything, which is kind of a drag as well?
The interface, I'm with you. I hate to bag on Android because there are a lot of good things about it, and there are a lot of ways that Google is sort of the anti-Apple and then make people happy for being so. But you look at the way that everything's laid out on the page, not within the Kindle app, but just when you're looking at your weather and your clock and just kind of like that.
It looks a little clunky.
It's like, you know what it looks like? Clunky. It looks like my old Windows desktop where I need to rearrange my icons to get them in more of like a uniform position.
I like this actually because I like widgets, I mean, that's a widget as opposed to the problem with the iPad and the iPhone in my mind is you only have one choice. You've got to do a grid of icons. This, at least you could do other things. There's battery level there. I've got the weather forecast. I've got the time. I can look at this is kind of apps. So I think those are, but you're right. It's not this unified elegance. And what's really sad, here's Foursquare. When you launch Foursquare, which is it works, it's an Android app, but it doesn't fill, you got all this empty space because it doesn't fill the space properly because it's designed for a phone. Maybe it looks a little more normal if I turn it sideways.
Well, Foursquare doesn't look good on the iPad either because they don't have an iPad enabled app.
Right.
But
so they don't design it for it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the apps just aren't ready.
It's good to have competition. I just want to assert that it's good to have competition because that makes the iPad better, it makes Apple work harder, it keeps prices down. And this is the first thing that I've seen that's even close.
Right.
We looked at the Zoom, we looked at the BlackBerry Playbook, nothing, not even close. This is the closest.
But at the same time, iPad's still on top, at least for me. From what I've played around with this at home as well.
I agree. There's no competition.
It will get there. And
a little
of course,
faster than I thought it would, actually.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think competition is good, and it'll be fun when there are two tablets that are awesome, but for different reasons.
You know what's got me jumping up and down?
What's that?
I tweeted this. I was so happy. Finally, I'm a New Yorker subscriber. Condé Nast. I know they've done it with other magazines too. Finally has, and this is because Apple finally allowed it. In-app subscriptions. If you're already a paper subscriber in the New Yorker, it's free. So I get my New Yorker at home. I read the paper magazine. Actually, my daughter and my wife steal it, but I can read it on my iPad. And if you got to make sure you download it before, you hit the road because it's over 100 megabytes. But this is it, the full New Yorker. And it's fun what they do with the cartoons. See if I can. I'll go to a story.
You could just go through the cartoons.
You could just do cartoons, which is awesome.
If you want to sort of bypass
if you
all
just
that
want to read the cartoons. Yeah, who wants to read the articles?
All that heavy Bin Laden news.
Yeah, they still have the ads, notice.
Well.
And they kind of make you look at it. I don't know if that's intentional, but I can't slide as fast as I'd like.
Well, that's weird.
Maybe that's just me.
I think you just have greasy fingers today. You have your
Look though, this is nice. This is better than the print magazine. They've got nicer pictures. Can you zoom? I think you can if I tap it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with your iPad right now.
It knows that I was seeing another tablet.
Maybe. Oh, it's like
it knows.
It's like a dog that won't walk.
Yeah.
Who's just gonna nudge. Here's the thing. Here's the problem with the in-app subscription. First of all, I'm super excited about the New Yorker.
I already get the paper magazine,
Wired
so it's
and Vanity
free.
Fair are also Condé Nast publications,
awesome.
and they're two magazines that I really like, that I will absolutely take advantage of this. But, and a lot of other people have pointed this out, and it's a good point, the numbers, the fees don't really add up. So if you are a New Yorker
paper subscriber,
and if I go to NewYorker.com,
it's cheap.
and I just go ahead and sign up for just a year subscription.
Right.
It's $39.95.
And it can be cheaper if there are lots of deals from over the year.
Sure, yeah, that's just what they're advertising to me right now. And then I get the iPad app for free. So that's $40. Yeah. Okay. If I go to, however, though, and I had to drill down to figure out what the print-only price is, because when you go to NewYorker.com, what it wants to do is bundle in the New Yorker for a year, plus digital access, plus the iPad app, and that's $69.99.
Oh, that's stupid.
Because that would just be
$20
being able to
more.
access the New Yorker from within a browser.
But I can already do that as a paper subscriber. I could do all of that.
Well, so what is the problem there? And then if you want to just buy the iPad app and you go through iTunes. So you download the app, which is free. The app is free, and you say, yes, I want a year. It's $59.99. Yeah. So you could actually get all of this for $40.
The best deal is subscribe to the paper magazine, but then you're killing trees.
And that's the thing. That's what makes me mad, is that there should be no reason for me to
Wall Street Journal does this too. I don't understand it.
To get the The whole point of the iPad, as far as magazines go, is because I don't want magazines coming to my mailbox. I hate mail. Stop sending me mail. And stop killing trees.
I agree.
Unless I specifically want you to.
I think in time this will all even out. It's because it's...
Yeah, they're just, they don't know what to do.
Wall Street Journal does that too. I tried to cancel my paper because I get it on the iPad. I love it on the iPad.
Right.
And they said, no, it's more. It costs me more to get it just on the iPad than it does. It's very... I don't get it at all.
I don't get it either, except it's almost as if they've got to figure out a way to pay all the employees that they still have.
It might be different divisions, yeah.
It confuses me a little bit, but I guess the moral of the story is the New Yorker to have a subscription model is awesome. It's not perfect yet, and definitely make sure that you're paying what you think you should be paying, because depending on how you subscribe, you might end up paying up to $20 over what could be advertised just on another webpage. Time for Ask Leo.
Ask me, please.
Stuart Fisher has a question for you, Leo. I own an iPhone and an iPad, and I have many apps, he says. I just purchased an iPad 2 for my wife, and now I need some advice. Should I set up a separate user account for my wife with iTunes? And if I do, what about all of my downloads and all of the too many apps that I have already purchased? Keep up the great work. Thanks for all of your help. P.S. Good luck with the new studio. So the idea is that Stuart's got all of these apps.
You'll have to buy them again if she has a separate account.
Yeah.
But don't forget, and we've talked about this before, that you are allowed to have the same apps on multiple devices. I think it's 5, but I don't know. It might be 6.
I think it's 5.
Is it 5?
With the same rules as music.
Right. So I would take advantage of that fact. There's only one negative. If your wife plays We Rule and starts buying a lot of Mojo, it's on your card, dude.
I
don't want to say anything.
But even if she or he were to buy a bunch of free apps, get a bunch of free apps, download apps, it's like your iPads will need to mirror each other if you're sharing the same account, or else things get really complicated, or you would be manually deleting things all the time after syncing. So you just have to be on the same page. They say in the chat room it's unlimited. Really?
Yeah.
Unlimited.
But I mean, there's a practical limit. I mean, how many iPads can you sync? They all have to sync to the same machine.
Maybe they just figure, how many iPads are people really going to buy? No one has that kind of cash.
Right.
Go for it. If you've got 20 iPads, you can have your apps on all of those iPads, because it's unlikely. I'm not sure. Okay, well, Stuart, the problem is that if she gets her own account, she's got to start from scratch.
Right, and everything you've bought, she has to buy over again.
Right. And if you share, then you need to make sure that syncing and having very similar apps on your iPads regularly is okay with you guys. Because if you want a really personal experience and you like different things, then this might be very frustrating for you. And I have mentioned in the past before, this also works for my iPhone, for example, and my iPad.
Yep.
That some of the apps don't transfer over very well, and if you're using the same account, I sync everything to this laptop here, and I've run across a few issues.
It's pretty smart, though. If it's an iPhone-only app, it won't try to put it on your iPad, right?
Well, you have options within Sync, within iTunes, where you can...
You just have to pay
attention. You can check and uncheck, but it's definitely... Options are very, very important. So, Stuart, hopefully we helped, and you're a very good husband for buying your wife an iPad 2.
Would it be all right if...
I hope that she's very appreciative. What are you doing over there? What is this?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was watching TV. I didn't realize you could see that.
Mila Jovovich.
Mila
Jovovich. I don't know. She does a lot of video game movies, doesn't she?
Look how good that looks.
Well, yeah, it looks awesome.
Can you believe that this is, I'm watching this from over the internet from my home TV. Actually, it's not mine. It's the Sling home TV system. It's using a Slingbox HD. I mean, this is HD quality over our Wi-Fi. This is on their home system. So this is what a Slingbox does for you, and this is why I just love the idea of Slingbox. They're one of our sponsors. What you'll do is you'll go to Amazon or Best Buy or Slingbox.com. You'll get a Slingbox. You hook it up to your home TV system. I don't know if we want to keep watching this. Is it going to get scary?
I don't know.
What is this movie?
I'm not sure what the movie is. I keep waiting for the chat room to tell us. You guys got to know what this is. It's some sort of mystery and intrigue.
Oh, it's getting spooky. I don't know. I can't watch it.
So the idea is that you pick up a Slingbox.
I think it's a horror movie.
Is it?
Yeah. Anyway, I could change the channel. I'm just not going to because I don't want to mess with whoever's watching this. You can, because remember we had that little fight.
Something called Fourth Kind. I've never heard of it.
Fourth Kind. Oh.
I don't know it.
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Ooh, this is scary.
It is?
Yeah.
It's not like the third kind.
No.
It's a whole different kind.
This is so awesome.
Is there an alien that's going to blow out of
I
his
don't
stomach?
know. I don't want to watch.
That would be awesome.
Anyway, you set up the Slingbox at home. You hook it up to your DVR, your satellite, your cable box, whatever you've got, everything. And you then the internet, and it becomes a little broadcast unit that you can log into with your password from your iPad with the Slingbox mobile app, your iPhone, your iPod Touch with Wi-Fi, your Mac, your PC. You can bring your home theater system with you. And I tell you, this is what I was waiting for on the iPad. This makes the iPad like a little portable TV. You can carry it around the house.
Yeah.
You could go to a ball game. You can watch the replays. You can, if you're in line at DMV, you could. I carry my iPad with me everywhere. I've always got what's on. So if you've DVR'd it, you missed it, or you've got the local game and you're on the road, it's all there. Slingbox is just super cool.
You know, it's so funny. I don't know if I told you this story last week, but my mom, who obviously watches our shows religiously, said, I think I'm kind of interested in this whole Slingbox thing.
Oh, it's so awesome.
But let me ask you a question. So if I buy a Slingbox and I don't have a TV in my office, but I want to watch TV on my new iMac that I just bought, can I do that? And I said, yes, Mom. Are we not explaining this well? That's exactly what you can do.
That's exactly the point. I guess we're not explaining. So now don't pay attention to the movie because it's too scary. But if you look, I tap this, and now I've got all these controls. I'm not going to mess with it but I've got the guy. Oh, it's getting scary. They'll watch it.
He is going to.
It's getting scary. I think something's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
It's scary.
We don't want to upset anybody.
Oh, he woke up. Thank goodness.
Oh, good. Oh, he just had a bad dream.
It was just a bad dream while she was hypnotizing him. So very easy to use controls. Absolute control over what's going on. I love. Oh, he's going to bomb it. Why do they do that in movies?
I don't know.
There's way too much barfing in movies.
I think that there should never be any barf ever.
No,
because when I see it, I want to do it.
Yeah, they can simulate it. You know, pretend, oh, I'm going to go throw up now, so don't follow me.
Just cut away.
Yeah, cut away.
Cut away.
And enough with the sounds.
Really?
Just cut away.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody wants to hear that.
No, it's like having the flu, and I paid money to go to a theater. Or in this case, I didn't because I'm just watching on my Slingbox.
I love it. Slingbox.com. Check it out and get your Slingbox at Amazon or Best Buy. I love Slingbox.
Slingbox.com. You guys are the best. So on TNT recently, Leo, a viewer had suggested, well, it was funny.
I feel bad.
Why?
Because I should have been talking about this program for a long time.
Well, that's okay because we're going to talk about it now, and we have another alternative as well. People are very rabid about the podcasting apps that they like, and the reason that I did some research on this was because last week, or I don't know, maybe it was earlier this week. Who knows? The weeks all run together. But on TNT, somebody had said, "Listen, I love your show, but sometimes I don't have a whole hour or 45 minutes or however long your show is, so I listen to it double speed."
Right.
And or I want to listen to a double speed. And does anyone have any suggestions? As someone else had wrote in and said, Podcaster, that's the app you want. And what's nice about this is that for anybody, and by the way, Podcaster is also guilty of not working well in landscape mode because it is an iPhone app, although it works on the iPad just fine. But this is for anyone who has gotten sort of frustrated with the whole idea of syncing with iTunes and subscribing to podcasts that way. You actually don't have to do that. You can use a variety of apps that work really well. If I wanted to listen to one of my favorite shows, which is Wait, Don't Tell Me, that's on NPR, I just go ahead and listen.
Now, does it download in the background?
Yeah. So we're kind of streaming ahead of time,
right? But it will put it on your machine for offline listening and all that.
If you want it to.
That's what we want because Apple does not do that, and I don't know why, but they didn't build that into the iPhone or the iPad.
Honestly, I don't know why you would. Here, I'll turn
just
this
the
down
ability to subscribe,
so that we're not.
Now, I
competing with these folks. But
formerly, you might have seen this before. It's formerly the RSS player. And by the way, Leo Laporte says,
I know, isn't that great?
A really handy little tool. So I guess I did know about this, but I just forgot.
I love it when I look up an app and they have you quoted as saying, I love this app.
Yeah.
Even though we haven't talked about it on this show.
I'm sure I said, well, it says the tech guy, so I probably said it on the
So it might have been a while ago. But see, so for example, here's where it says 1x. It's very similar to actually the way that you would blow up an app. I can go up to 2x, and now even though you can still hear it.
You're going to speed it up.
Oh, did I just pause it? Oh,
you turned it down.
I just turned it down.
So it doesn't sound like chipmunks. That's what's interesting about speeding it up. It just makes it talk faster.
Yeah, it pretty much takes out space between words.
Right.
So this is it's a great app, and I'll go ahead and pause this. But
why have a space between words?
Well, because
get rid of the spaces
sort
between
of the way
words.
that natural language
wasting
is.
Your time.
But you've got options too. Like you can, if for some reason you like listening to podcasts when you go to sleep, it's kind of like when you set a timer on a TV.
Right.
I can say I want to go to sleep in 90 minutes, and then just sort of shut that off so you don't end up running your battery out, or wake up 4 hours later and you're still listening to some NPR podcast. What's nice too about Podcaster is, let's go to the directory here. They give you some, if you're kind of like, I want to subscribe to some podcasts, but I'd like some ideas. It's very similar to the App Store where they'll tell you what's most popular. A variety of Twit podcasts are in there, although curiously, no iPad today, although they don't have our audio feed in here, so maybe that's where we're getting
Do they do
screwed.
video in this one or not?
No, they do for other Twitch shows, just not this show. There's top rated, there's suggested. You can obviously search by title. If I search an iPad, I was like, why are we so far down below other iPad shows? But whatever.
Sarah Lane, I just want everyone to understand that's how objective you are. Sure, they don't include our show in their app. We could have slammed them, but no. But no. Well, I mean, because we're not that kind of people.
No. I don't. Hey, they just don't have our audio feed in there yet. I bet if they had our audio feed in there, between video and audio, we'd be at the top of every list.
Alex Sokorinsky, the author of this, is dead to me.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so you retract how great the app is.
Yeah, I don't like it. One cotton picking. No, I'm just kidding.
This is $1.99, so I mean.
Did you like it? So would you use this?
Oh, totally. But
there's another choice.
Somebody had written to me on Twitter after the conversation that we had. Let me put my.
This is called Downcast.
Yeah, after the conversation we had on TNT, and said, "Hey, FYI, if you like Podcaster, you should try Downcast. It's better." Okay, so I said, let's find out if it actually is better. Well, the first thing I like about it is that it rotates. Yay!
Hallelujah.
Even though this is also designed for iPhone, as you can see, they at least rotated it. And, we're mostly looking at text here, so I kind of appreciate that. So, I mean, if I go ahead and subscribe to the same podcast, I wanted to at least keep a control group of sorts. This is very similar. You can go double speed. You can actually go 1.5 the speed. You can go double speed, or you can even go half of the speed, which is a very weird, drawn-out way to listen to a podcast. I don't know why you would ever want that unless maybe you were trying to listen to some sort of sound effect in the background or something.
And by the way, we know that you can do this in the iPod app on your iPad or your iPod, but people were looking for this capability in the podcast catcher.
Yes, and this doesn't require any syncing to iTunes at all.
Right,
this is going
That's
straight to subscribe to podcasts through this app.
We weren't looking for a way to speed it up. We were looking for a way to get podcasts over the air, and that's what this does. And it has the speed up capability.
Totally. The sleep timer is actually also better as well. If you remember with Podcaster, there was like 30, 60, 90 minutes. This is much more intuitive. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can 7 hours and 6 minutes. I want this to turn off, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit more iPad-like or iPhone-like. You can skip ahead a few minutes. What they also have, and this is awesome, is they have touch gesture. So, for example, if I want to mark as read, I would do 2 fingers
Oh, that's
down.
cool. Marcus played, yeah.
Yeah, Marcus played.
Oh, that's cool.
2 fingers to the right, skips to the next podcast if I had another podcast that was ready to be listened to, and so on. So I actually got to agree with this was PSX Mac on Twitter who said Downcast is better. They're both $1.99. I don't know if one's really bad. They're really kind of doing the same thing, but I have to agree that I think Downcast's interface is a little bit more robust. It does rotate, and it has a little bit more customization. And of course, both of these apps, you can email if you like a podcast or tweet about it or share it on Facebook, that kind of thing. They do the same stuff. But
want to be clear, I know you can download podcasts in iTunes. You can't subscribe to them. That's what we're talking about. Is the ability because we're going to get the email.
Right.
We know what you can do. What we're saying is what we want to be able to do is subscribe to a podcast and just have it be on our thing automatically instead of having to sync it up.
Yeah.
You can download individual episodes, of course, but that's not what we're talking about. We want to subscribe.
Very true. These are apps where you can subscribe to a variety of podcasts, and that's where they live, and you play them.
I hate it when we say something
as simple as it is
that stimulates mail, and then we do the thing, and then we get more mail. So I didn't want to get more mail.
Boy, did we get a lot of mail over the last week.
Because we make a lot of mistakes.
It's really good. It's just like, it's hard.
Thank you.
Thank
you for your feedback.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no, it's great. In fact,
we get some voicemail too.
We got some voicemails, and we only have time to play one of them. But this is actually kind of a sad voicemail, and it involves an accident.
Hi, Sarah and Leo. I just wanted to call and tell you that I recently dropped my iPad 2, and I broke the screen. Why do Apple warranties not cover accidents?
Anonymous.
She doesn't sound happy.
No, she didn't even want to leave her name. She's so upset.
They don't cover accidents. I think that's pretty obvious. In fact,
I was playing baseball with my iPad too, and it didn't end well.
It's a warranty, which means they warrant errors on their part, not on your part.
Yeah.
And the extended warranty, the Apple Care does not. And now that may be a little something that confuses people because it sounds like, Apple Care will replace it no matter what. It does not.
No.
It's one of the reasons I don't recommend Apple Care generally is because most of the time the built-in warranty on these devices is sufficient. If it survives that warranty period of the first year, you're usually all right. Most of the time, the reason people want something fixed is because they broke it.
Yeah, I mean, I've dropped. I actually have had really good luck with my iPads so far, but I've dropped an iPhone in the toilet. I have shattered a screen. Now, of course, the whole rumor is that the iPhone 5 will not have the glass background because so many people have had shattering issues.
My kids have now gone through 2 iPhone 4s. And it's like I said, what are you doing? They have them in cases, but they have it in their pocket. And you know how kids roughhouse and stuff, my son especially, somebody will knock him and it smashes the glass. It's too easy to break.
Things fall out of bags.
It's very easy to break.
That's just the way it goes. You got to treat this guy like a precious piece of cargo because that's what it is.
Although I do want to give credit to Apple. Abby dropped her iPhone like 3 or 4 weeks after getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Was devastated, brought it to the Apple store, not the store, we bought it from an AT&T store, and said, I just got this, and they gave her a new one.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't...
Did she bat her eyelash? I mean...
Probably.
Because that's not
She's
really what is the protocol.
It's not their normal thing, but I have to say that the Apple geniuses have a lot of leeway, and I think that they often do try to make it right.
Well, especially if you've got a receit that proves that it's brand new.
She just bought
and
it.
you're heartbroken.
She just bought it.
Yeah,
it's
sucks.
like if you go to Howard Johnson's or Baskin Robbins, you buy an ice cream cone, and you go at the door and it falls on the ground.
Yeah.
I think, you could reasonably go back in and say, hey, it fell on the ground. They don't have to give you... What are you laughing at?
Well, I like peanut butter and chocolate on a cone as likened to an iPad 2.
Right.
With a shattered screen.
If it falls on the ground...
Same thing.
Oftentimes, Howard Johnson will give you a new cone. He'll say, oh, I'm sorry, you dropped your cone.
Howard Johnson of the motel chain?
People don't remember, but in the old days, Howard Johnson's had ice cream.
Howard Johnson...
was a restaurant.
Motels on the...
They had orange roofs, and they had 28 flavors. Not 31, 28.
Was it Baskin Robbins?
They have 31.
Right.
Howard Johnson
Because remember,
28.
Baskin Robbins used to be 31 flavors.
Right.
Now I think they have more. I don't know. I haven't been there in a while. I don't even know where there's a Baskin Robbins.
We are so easily distracted.
I know, it's really sad.
Please send us an email so we have something to talk about.
Oh, we have so many emails.
Send us a voicemail.
No, I want emails, voicemails, and videos. By the way, there were a few really great videos this week, but try to keep them to 30 seconds ish, because it's hard to play them on the show if they're over a minute. Sometimes they're really great, but they're 3, and it's like we just can't really fit them in. But if you do want to leave us a voicemail, number 757-504-IPAD. That's also 757-504-4723 if you like numeric things. You can write to us at iPadtoday@twit.tv, obviously, or if you want to send us a video, just try to keep it concise, but we love to see your smiling face or your frowny face if you happen to drop your iPad. Sorry about that, Anonymous. What a drag. Just upload the video anywhere that you can easily send us a URL to that video, and we will try to play it and show you and talk to you.
And by the way, if you drop this podcast,
yes,
apparently Houdini 7 did, and it's shattered, we will give you a new one free.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yep. Absolutely.
Wow.
We're good that way.
I didn't realize that we were in the business of providing
free podcasts for everyone.
Good.
And actually the reason it's free is because of people like Slingbox and Citrix and, of course,
GoToMyPC.
FreshBooks.
Oh, FreshBooks.
Love FreshBooks. You know about FreshBooks, don't you?
Totally.
I found out about it in 2004. They actually just started. They were the first kind of Web 2.0 company I was aware of. Amber MacArthur told me about them because they're up in Toronto. And I was sending invoices, and to Toronto, to Rogers, and to other people that I did work for. And it was just the most painful part of my months. In fact, frequently I delay it for weeks, sometimes months, in one case 9 months, which means I wasn't getting paid. Along comes FreshBooks.com, and it's so easy to invoice. You can even do automatic invoices. That you can have automatic ticklers if people don't pay you, but you do get paid faster, I think. And the reason is you could put a button right there on the invoice that says "Pay me now," and they could use a credit card. Your client or customer could use a credit card, or they can use one of 11 different payment services to pay you instantly. And that means you're going to get paid faster. FreshBooks is so cool. If they are the kind of old-fashioned types that require a paper invoice, they'll do that too for an additional fee. They'll print it, stamp it, and mail it for you.
If you don't get payment from one of your clients, they'll remind the client, so you don't have to be that guy or gal feeling naggy and uncomfortable.
No, it's just all automatic. Your logo's on it, so it looks very real. I just think this is the best way, and it's free for the first 3 clients, so there's really no reason not to use it. I think for a lot of us, 3 clients is plenty. And it's very affordable as you get larger to do more invoices. This is just a great way. And they're still doing the birthday cakes. You had a birthday cake. You got one from Caroline's. How was it?
Oh, my gosh. It was so good. We got one, I don't know. It
came like
last
in dry
Thursday,
ice.
I think so. It was packed in a box, and you think, how good can cake be in a box?
Right.
And we opened it up, and there was like smoke coming out. It was very dramatic, and it was all wrapped up. So it wasn't like it was there were anybody's fingerprints on it. And we opened it up, and we cut it, and it was like
I saw you eating it.
It was closer to a gourmet Twinkie.
Yeah.
Than some sort of dried out gross cake. It was really good. So FreshBooks,
it's
I love
kind
your
of
cake.
kooky to say use FreshBooks because you might get a cake, but you might.
Well, it's free.
Once a week they'll
Up
do
to
a drawing.
3
Not
clients.
everybody, but once a week they're doing a drawing among their new clients, people they get from us, and they will give one of them a birthday cake, even if it's not your birthday.
I tell you, it was good cake. Good cake is
FreshBooks.com.
good people.
It has good cake.
So
That's a selling point. Are you going to get your cap on?
I'm going to get my cap.
I'm going to get my cap on, too. All right, let's take a break for cap getting on her time.
I don't need that long of a break. Leo, I think I'm going to go to Yale for this app cap.
Class of 57.
That's right.
Who knew Sarah Lane was 50 plus 18, 78 years old?
I've got hat issues, Hats just they're
You look
hard.
great in that. What are
Well-
you talking about? You look how do I look? You like how I look?
You look half Eskimo, half bear. It's like you're both. You're the
I
hunted
actually have
and the
a bear
hunter.
hat. Somebody took my bear hat.
Well, it's the cute little ear flaps. I mean, what are those if not ears? They're really cute.
What did you say?
Or Wolfie. Yeah. Oh, now you're like a little coyote.
I'm
You
one
said,
flap
"Rrr,
up."
rrr, I'm confused. So my app cap is rad. And I say this being not of the generation who should really be into this app.
Why do you look at me when you say that?
Well, because how old were you? how old were you when
I was
Woodstock
13.
happened?
13.
So you weren't really old enough to
I wasn't
go
old enough to
and
go,
participate.
but I kind of knew about it and
you knew
thought
about
it was
and
really
it was cool, right?
And I know a lot of people who went to Woodstock, including Paul Block, our former executive producer on the Screensavers. He and Sheila, I think, met at Woodstock, didn't they?
I don't know if they met at Woodstock, but I've heard all about how he
Naked
wouldn't have
dancing.
missed such an iconic blah, blah, blah.
Well, if you
Oh,
missed
the drugs.
Woodstock,
If you missed Woodstock, then you're going to love an app called On the Way to Woodstock. It's by a company called 955 Dreams. And I actually reached out to them once I played around with this app a little bit because
look at
I
that.
was so
That's
impressed.
Arlo Guthrie.
So this is, okay, so let me show you just kind of the
this
layout
is-
of this first of all.
This is the kind of program that would have been a CD-ROM 10 years ago.
Absolutely. It's very much, it's like an encyclopedia
Yeah, it's
almost
multimedia, yeah.
of history. So this is just your layout. And if you get confused, which I wasn't confused.
Was your mom
but,
a hippie? Your mom must have been a
Oh
hippie.
my gosh.
Mom
My
and Dad.
parents were.
Yeah.
Totally. They lived like in a cabin
Did you
without
grow up in a
electricity.
commune? You look like you did.
No, they moved
It's
like
the Yale hat.
they moved out of the Santa Cruz Mountains when I came along.
Oh, they did?
Because they're like, hey, baby.
So they
probably
were
need
kind of
to-
hippies. Huh?
Oh, yeah, very much
Well,
so.
don't make that face. Hippies are good. I'm a hippie.
Well, but they didn't shave. I don't know. They were hippies, you know? I see pictures and I'm like, oh, you guys.
Oh, you're so hairy.
Oh yeah, but no, they were wonderful hippie people. So this is kind of the stuff that I always grew up hearing about, right?
Yes.
So if you're going through the app, it's
Do you have music? Do you want me to give you the plug?
Well, I don't want to worry about any copyright issues,
Oh,
but you
come on. We're reviewing an app.
Well,
Plug her
all right.
in,
Okay,
baby.
fine.
Yeah, just plug it into the side of that
No,
iPad.
it's actually really what it does is it gives you a lot of history.
This
you know
is
where
cool.
where
It
the nation was at the
contextualizes it,
time leading up to Woodstock.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea, you know, a lot of people are like, so it was an after concert and it rained a lot. I mean, what's the
No,
big deal?
no.
There was so much that led up to it. For example. Here's a YouTube video of things that were going on in Berkeley in the '60s. You know there was some action and there was stuff going on and
It's kind
here's
of
an old
interesting
newsreel
that they've included YouTube videos in the app. That's kind of interesting.
You know, I reached out to Kieran Balabi. I hope I'm saying your last name right. He's the founder of 955 Dreams, which they also do History of Jazz app. I said, how did you figure out, how did you get the rights to all this stuff? And he said, we have an editorial team of ex-music bloggers, so they write about all the stuff. This is all, there's everything that's written about the festival and it beginning. I mean, this is all original material here that they wrote themselves. So you've got pictures here of the crowd, but you also have, if you want to show the
Oh, I'm
app,
sorry.
It's okay. I mean, you can look at me, but this is much more
I
interesting.
like looking at you. No, is that Woodstock right there?
Yeah. This is what it looked like. It's crazy. It was on a dairy farm. Oh
Yeah.
God, you should have seen the cleanup effort afterwards. The app will tell you all about that too. But here's a lot of pictures from. It's just kind of a photo gallery from during the time and who was involved, and you're looking at some state police here, type of a thing. But he said also they've licensed photos from a photographer, Barry Levine, who was an official Woodstock photographer, award winner. And they have a lot of hand curation of the videos and stuff that they got from Wikipedia and that kind of thing. So Sly and the Family Stone performed, and they tell you a lot of really cool stuff about it. So if I wanted to know more about, I don't know, the Grateful Dead set. Okay, so now the Grateful Dead, so here I've got some information about, if you don't know a lot about the Grateful Dead, most people do, but if you don't, here's a bunch of videos that the Grateful Dead...
That's great.
Yeah, and then the biography, but then also like the Woodstock set list. What exactly did they play when they were there, for example? So you can listen to, High Time from the Grateful Dead, and if you like it, then you can buy it on iTunes.
Oh, that's neat.
And everything is totally.
Is this from
wrapped
the
up.
show, the concert?
No, this is actually just something that you can.
It's
buy
a
on
song
iTunes.
that they played there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because the audio quality is too good for this to be from.
Yeah, I think you're right. It doesn't sound live. Yeah.
And then you can watch many more videos by the Grateful Dead, like Ramble on Rose, for example. Anyway, what I like about this is that if I was, I don't know, let's say, I wish I would have known about this a week ago because I would have gifted this to my mom. You know how you can gift apps? This is the sort of thing that she
Yeah.
would love for nostalgia's sake.
Sure.
Very much so, like, oh, Janis Joplin, oh boy, wasn't she crazy, kind of thing. But I also learned a lot about this because even though I feel like I knew a lot about, you know, the time and, oh, wasn't it crazy? And Jimi Hendrix, you know, melted everybody's face off. I didn't really know, for example, about the aftermath. So here's a bunch of pictures from the party being over.
Oh, look at that mess.
Oh, it's just gross, you know, and there were lawsuits and the cleanup effort took, you know, 2 weeks and somebody died when a tractor ran over them type of a thing. And then there's also a section about the people who didn't want to be involved in Woodstock. Bob Dylan, for example, who played a whole different concert that 150,000 people went to. It was the Right Festival.
But you never hear about that.
No, you don't. Led Zeppelin didn't want to just be one act. They wanted to be the only stars on the bill, not one of many. So it was really cool to read more information than I had ever known about the festival. And if you go back to the home screen, which is here, let's just say you're kind of done with it and you've read everything. You can just use it. You know, you can flip through the gallery or just play the screensaver, and it's neat. Yeah, it's really neat.
It's like going to Woodstock.
Yeah, I had told Karen I see this particularly as a really good app to gift because it's like you're giving somebody almost a coffee table book.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a neat present, almost to give to somebody more than yourself because they go, "Oh wow, this is so good. Thank you for thinking of me."
CD-ROMs aren't dead. They've migrated to the iPad. I bet you it's the same size as a CD-ROM.
Multimedia experience, $9.99. So 955 Dreams. Love ya.
Deal. Mine is really kind of a make good. You know, last week we covered note-taking apps.
Yes.
And Dan Bricklin wrote to us. We actually had him on Triangulation yesterday. Dan is the guy who created, along with Bob Frankston, the first killer app, VisiCalc, for the Apple II.
Wow.
Later for the IBM PC. He's still writing software 31 years later. And he says, well, you didn't cover my Notetaker app. And he gave us a demo yesterday. And I have to say, we showed a lot of note-taking apps. This one is maybe the best I've seen. Now, it's a little deceptive, and it's one of the reasons I didn't pick it is because at first it just looks like a yellow piece of paper, but it has so many additional features that it just kind of blew me away. You can see I've pasted a calendar. It has templates. It is designed. Yeah, I better start a new one here because this one is not not very impressive. It is designed to look like a plain old notepad, but let me add a page here. And they have some template pages. You could take a PDF and annotate a PDF within it, which is pretty amazing. They have a lot of very cool tools. You can insert images. You can email it. You can draw. You can also type plain text. It has pretty much all the features of all of the other Notetaker apps and then some. And so I felt a little bit bad because, you know, watch, I can drag an arrow. And these are all smart objects that you could put in here. If I get out of there and let me show you, there's a lot of templates, which is one of the things that we talked about.
Yeah.
You could do decision trees, but even more. I mean, look at this, a contact info form that you can put in there. It's just really a very powerful piece of software that I think that we should have highlighted on here. It is I think it's $5. Is that right? Did I get the price right on that?
How much is it? I wrote it down. Yeah, it's $4.99.
You could even drag a day planner into here.
It's almost like for all of the note-taking apps that do some things really well and look really good, it's like that everything.
Yeah,
it's almost got that mathematician made this type of a feel.
Yeah, look at Music Staff. So you could use it to draw music in here.
Oh, that'd be good for all the folks who say that they use note-taking for, sheet music or guitar lessons. This is made,
I would say, here's a guitar tabs. This is made for, I would say, students and people who are taking notes in classes, things like that. I mean, it just is fantastic. So please, my apologies to Dan Bricklin. This is called Notetaker HD. It's in the iTunes store. Extremely powerful. He's adding features all the time. He says Dropbox is coming soon, although you can currently save out to Dropbox or save out to any application. He showed us, and this is one of the cool things, you can go to the IRS website, download a PDF of tax forms, and fill it out in this program, and then send it to the IRS. So there's a lot you can do with this. This is just a kind of to be honest, it was deeper than I realized, so I kind of missed out on it. Look, I'll take a little picture of me in my hat. Oh, it's on the other side. Let's see.
You know, you could just press that little
Flip that
button and
button
flip
there.
the camera around.
You know
Now
how
that
to
we've
use
got,
it. Hey.
yeah.
All right, and now I can embed that right into the, isn't that, I mean,
Oh, and you can resize it.
yeah, I mean,
and
this is
all
just
sorts of good
super
stuff.
cool. He really has done a great job. So that is a Notetaker HD.
Yeah, this looks like
You
a
know what?
program you need.
It's the one.
You would
It's
use
the
for
one.
more than just a few minutes.
Yep.
Kind of
It's
does
very
everything.
deep. But also very simple because it just opens up a piece of paper and you can actually just start writing right away. So nice job, Dan, and apologies for not mentioning it sooner.
Well, we mentioned it now.
Yes, we did.
So if for any reason none of our note apps struck your fancy enough last week, try out Dan Bricklin's Notetaker HD.
And do
$5.
watch the videos. It'll teach you how to use it because there's so much in there.
Yeah,
you
don't want to not know all that it's
No,
capable
you'll miss
of.
a lot of it, as I did. So
Well, Leo, I hate to say this, but I feel as though we've run out.
time to say goodnight.
Yeah, actually, we haven't run out. We killed a few things from the show.
We could go even longer, but we won't.
We could go even longer, but we'll save the good stuff for next week.
We do iPad Today every Thursday afternoon about 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern.
Correct.
Live.twit.tv. But, of course, you should subscribe using Downcast or any
Podcaster or through iTunes.
The easiest thing to do is go to twit.tv/IPT for
That's right.
iPad Today.
And you have all
and
the
it has
options.
all the options there. Audio, video, and everything. Sarah Lane, thank you, my dear.
Leo Laporte, thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you for being here. We'll see you next time
On iPad Today.
I actually shouldn't howl. I've got the wolf ears.
More of a ghost than a wolf.